Yes, people, good morning. Welcome to United View. Happy Monday. Hope you guys are doing well. Welcome back to the channel. Smash a like on the video. Subscribe to the channel if you are new. And I'm just going to rewind that again. Smash a like, not just for the video, but for Daniel, don't know his middle name, Ashworth. Yeah? Owen might have it through the wiki. I don't know. Daniel Ashworth. Smash a like for Daniel Ashworth. He has agreed to deal with Manchester United. Breaking news within the last sort of hour or so from David Ornstein. We've got our man. The structure is pretty much complete. He can start work straight away. So we're going to be talking about that with his immediate start. Matthijs de Ligt, myself, and Kevin the Hatchman Hatchard, which was a fantastic video, by the way. Big up to everyone who watched that. Everyone enjoyed it. We're only talking about de Ligt the other day, and I'm not going to lie to you. At that part of the video with de Ligt and Yoro, I thought, let me just ask him about de Ligt because I know he knows so much. Not because I thought it would really, and our good friend Ovi Florin Prettenberg said it before, but it just went a bit cool. Now it's intensified. There is some serious interest. Some reports even saying there is a contract offer there on the table for Man United. So we're going to be talking about that. And Ugarte, Manuel Ugarte from PSG, who we spoke about on the show with Kevin Hatchard as well, is a serious Man United target. There are conversations going on. It is all going off here at Man United, here at United View, beginning of a big week. And just to top it off, Gareth Southgate keeps our summer going. Jude Bellingham saves our summer. Harry Kane saves our summer and sits Owen down, and we live to fight another day in the quarterfinals of the European Championships. What a day. What a Monday. It doesn't get better than this, does it, Owen?
I tell you what, Flex, you are shameless. You are.
Why is that?
You are absolutely shameless because you know some of the things that you've been saying about Gareth Southgate, and then we click go live and he comes on and he pretends. What a fraud. Yeah, not flip flop flex the fraud is what it is now. Is what it is. But no, look, I'm very happy that England are through. Obviously, I'm not one of those people that's like, you know what I mean? Oh, I wasn't right. Oh God, England is still in the competition. Oh, because I don't like Gareth Southgate's management style. Oh, I'm happy England are through. I'm very happy England are through, obviously. And hopefully it's the spark, it's a catalyst for something else. I think once the dust settles a bit, then you kind of realize, oh, damn, we got to play Switzerland. You're playing very well. Like my prediction pre-tournament was quarterfinals. That could be very much
You're on track, mate.
That could very much be
with all the support I gave Gareth Southgate, my prediction, I think, was actually that round there. It was round 16. And then last week I said we're going to win it because Kobe's playing. So I'm just doing my own thing right now. But
exactly.
Man
we'll
United
park that to one side.
Yes,
we'll park that to
Ashworth.
one side. Start with Dan Ashworth, because actually this is quite interesting because to give sort of the credit, first of all, before David Ornstein this morning, who confirmed it, late last night, Rob Dawson from ESPN was really the first I can see that was going around going, there is a deal that's close between Dan Ashworth, between Newcastle and Manchester United for Dan Ashworth. And it's really come out of nowhere in the sense of, for months, all we have heard is, well, talks are ongoing, negotiations are ongoing. There's a big gap. Manchester United want to pay £4 million, something like that. Newcastle want £20 million. That's all we heard. And then last night, Rob Dawson said that deal is close. And then this morning, you get from David Ornstein, not only is the deal close, a deal is done. So this is what David Ornstein has said in the last few minutes, really. Manchester United have agreed a deal with Newcastle United to appoint Dan Ashworth as their sporting director. Ashworth's move to Old Trafford was delayed by the clubs struggling to compromise on a compensation package. As I mentioned, a huge difference in the sort of 20 million valuation from Newcastle to how much Manchester United were willing to pay. It continues by saying, but more than 4 months after he was placed on gardening leave, because you've got to remember, Man United have had a deal agreed with Ashworth for the best part of 4 months. And it looked as though an independent hearing would be needed to break the deadlock. Ashworth's switch has now been sanctioned. Now, this is the key part of this, something that I don't think a lot of people expected regarding all of this is an immediate start for Ashworth at Manchester United. Ornstein is writing, the 53-year-old is expected to commence his position in the new-look Manchester United structure with immediate effect. That would mean that after all of this, Dan Ashworth is actually going to arrive earlier than Omar Barada because he starts later on this week, next week, something like that. So that's kind of a mad thing to consider.
How mental is that after all that he gets here earlier than Omar? Wow. Jim. Wow.
I know. It continues by saying he is set to have overall responsibility for football performance, recruitment, and operation at the 20-time champions of England, with technical director Jason Wilcox reporting to him. Ashworth will himself report into Sir Dave Brailsford, who Ratcliffe has tasked with undertaking a review of the United's football operation. So certainly, Flex, it's a really big and significant story for Manchester United, of course, ahead of what we hope is a busy transfer window. The really main guy when it pertains to transfers, the sporting director, someone who's going to be heading at recruitment, is going to be through the door. As we just spoke about, our new CEO is going to be through the door and beginning, did he say 6th of July, something like that? It's either this week or next week. It's the first couple of weeks of July. That's what it is. Nevertheless, again, it's a big, it looks like Flex got the look of Flecknology going on. Yeah, you are. You can't hear you, Flex, no. You can't hear you. You're gonna have to refresh. No. And you wonder sometimes, guys, why we're late.
So stupid. I'm sitting in my own business, hands by my side, just listening to you on mute, you know, top right corner. iPhone microphone's not working. Oh, that's stupid. I don't know what that even is. What?
Well, I told you, turn your Apple products off. You got to be careful. Anyway.
Carry on.
The point we were talking about is, again, already now, this structure that Ineos are trying to put in place, we had thought about, whether it's going to be after the transfer window next year, possibly. Now we're looking at a situation by July. This structure is in place, as we're going to see later on in this show. Deals are being worked on, and Ineos have got not only their man, but they've got their men all in place. They've got all their people that they want to bring in. I suppose the only point, Flex, that is to be considered, and we don't know just yet, how much did they pay to Newcastle? The compromise has been met, but what
I do want to know.
What is the compromise? Because, as many people are pointing out, it is July 1st, so there was that kind of discussion about PSR and stuff like that. Have Manchester United played a blinder here, or have Manchester United had the pants pulled down? Really, that's what we're trying to find out. Newcastle did somehow manage to spur up, was it £35 million for Elliot Anderson yesterday? So I think they might be doing okay. I don't know. I don't know if it was desperation. We'll see. But the top blind thing is that Manchester United have got their man.
It's perfect news. It's absolutely perfect news because, like you said, this is the one that was really taking the longest to get done. This was the one that was getting drawn out. This is the one where a lot of people, again, throwing some criticism towards Ineos. It's taking too long, but then at the same time, this dividing fans gets like, well, don't be paying anything stupid like what Newcastle want. Then it's like Sir Jim needs to calm down because he's out there in public sort of saying that it's getting a bit stupid and Newcastle being difficult. And it's like, maybe don't do that because you're just going to piss them off even more. He's got what he wanted. And he's got him in early. Well, I'm not going to say earlier than he wanted because clearly he didn't want it to be this whole 4-month thing. But in terms of where it's still effective for us, we are now not going to be going through the summer transfer window without one of the main figureheads there. Yes, Omar Barada was already going to be there, 13th of July, I think it is. And Jason Wilcox was already there. But Dan Ashworth was the missing piece. And that gives us so much confidence now before, a good chunk before pre-season. We're going to talk about some of the deals we're actually working on later on in the show because there is an awful lot going on. Man United can't be accused of sleeping or taking too long or napping or, they've got a whole new structure, sorted out the managerial situation. Yes, took a little bit long and some twists and turns along the way that we didn't like, but most of us are like, right, it's done, it's over, we can move on. The backroom staff with Ruud van Nistelrooy and Rene Harker, which we'll wait to see.
Be coming this week, really.
Anytime now. That's all but done. You're looking at contract offers to players, bids flying in. It's all in motion. And from when they've got ratified in February, it was.
Yeah, Feb. Deal was agreed. Was it Christmas Eve, and then I think February at some point.
February. So let's just say 5 months from the February till now. Look what we've got. And listen. I understand exactly why people are still skeptical, are still cautious, whether that's cautiously optimistic or cautiously pessimistic, whatever. I still get there's loads of feelings going around. And it's not just one big fat tick and say, we are saved. Ineos have saved us. Oh my God, we're back to the Manchester United of old. This is a process. Of course it is. But in 5 months, I'm telling you now, apart from maybe if we're really being picky, signed a player as well, chuck that on, like confirmed, done deal. Apart from that, I don't see anything else they could have done in this time. Oh, and 50 million quid out of his own back pocket into Carrington as well, by the way. I
Well,
don't
it's funny.
see.
It's funny with that one, the 50 million quid, because people are pointing out, I suppose rightfully so. They go, well, that was part of the transaction, was this agreement that he was going to put money in.
Yeah, so
But
he already did it. But he done it.
you're kind of splitting hairs because that money still does come out of his pocket. You
Where
know
did
what
it
I
come
mean?
from? It's
You know
his
what I mean?
money. He
Yeah.
did it. Okay, yeah, the work just commenced now, so we're like basically saying don't give him props for doing something twice when he did it
For
once.
buying into the club.
Whatever. Slash some of the debt on the credit card and put 50 more than put 50 million into Carrington. Tick. Is it perfect? Have we got everything we wanted? No, but how could we go from where we was, you know, and want to click our fingers and see everything just perfect? No, we haven't even played our first game of preseason yet. There's still so much to see. You know, who leaves, who goes. We're still at the start of this thing. But I just think for 5 months to get that done, what we've done, a whole new footballing structure, a whole new coaching staff, essentially, and plans for the new stadium and plans for Carrington. It's a good start, man, and the people that we're interested in as well.
It goes back to, again, it goes back to sort of, I think, with the expectation and thing of, okay, well, what do you really want then? Because I'm with you. I do understand the sort of skepticism of, well, look, I'm not going to blind faith, and I don't think you're necessarily asking for blind faith or anything like that. I think it's just, again, about being a bit fair. You know, that's what can you judge them on thus far? You know, you would go, well, you know, they've, I mean, that can't be overstated. On the executive side of things, the amount of overhaul that's come in the last 5 months to any business, let alone a football club, right, is radical. I mean, there's just changing your CEO in any business is a big deal, let alone your CEO, your sporting director, your technical director, your chief financial officer is also gone. There are other people on that side of things that have been there a long time that are now no longer there. We've got new members on the board in itself. In addition to that, like I said, the work has begun on reviewing what's going to happen with the stadium, with the task force. Work has begun on the training ground at Carrington. Everything's not totally perfect. You look at the management of the women's team. I think Ineos have to have a really hard look at themselves as to how they're managing that side of things, because, you know, they've just got this new training facility for the women or whatever, and they've now been moved out of it because they're working on Carrington, and the men have gone in there and all that kind of stuff. So that needs to be looked at, their management of that. So it's not perfect at all. You could make an argument certainly of how the whole situation surrounding Erik ten Hag and the post-season review and the leaks coming up for the FA Cup, the talks of other managers, how that was handled. Probably, I think they would admit, they even said to Erik ten Hag themselves, didn't they, in that interview, we could have handled things better there. So they're not totally perfect, but I think if you're expecting them to be perfect, then you're always going to be disappointed because those are too high expectations. But the things that they have done thus far, again, they've got this structure in place, I think, earlier than people had anticipated, particularly with Dan Ashworth. It's going to be interesting to see how much they paid, because hypothetically, if it comes out that they did pay close to 20 million, then people will be raising their eyebrows at that, won't they? They'll be going,
Yeah, I really hope that don't happen. By the way,
they'll be going, yeah, what happened? What happened with that
but
one?
I can't see that happening with how strong they were. I can't,
well,
unless they
I would
went
hope not.
sod it. We just want him in now. Do you know what? Let's just pay it. But I can't.
Yeah, I would hope that's not the case. And then look, as we've said too, when it comes to obviously the transfer market, look, when we get to the end of it, we're going to have to judge that about the players we brought in, how much we paid for them, what the wages they're on, all that kind of stuff. So there is still things to judge them on, and there is still stuff that they can and they might get wrong. This transfer window, just because we've now got everyone in place, kind of, it's not going to be totally smooth because they haven't been in place long enough to do a lot of due diligence and planning, even though they have actually been working when they're not supposed to be working. All that kind of stuff has been going on. So, but I think it is room to be positive and optimistic. I don't think it's reasons to be doing cartwheels and backflips down the street, being like Manchester United are back. But I don't think people are asking for that anyway. I think that once again we get into this weird territory, don't we? Of I think because we've had it so bad for a decade that when there is optimism, it's either too much, too far, or it's just met with complete cynicism straight away. Don't be optimistic about this. Manchester United, we're a shit show. And we are a shit show. But at least if there are efforts to become not a shit show, is that not positive? Is that not to be like, well, that's good news? We're maybe trying to do things a bit better, the right way. It's got to start
But we're
somewhere.
scared to do that. We're scared to do that, and we're cautious to do that because, like I said, we've been burnt so many times. We've been stung so many times. You don't keep putting your hand back in there into the beehive or whatever to get stung again. You to the wasp's nest or whatever. You don't do that because you know what's in there. So I get it. And we're not even trying to make this like a battle of like, see, you guys, this, that, and the other. It's just an encouragement. It's almost like
this is good.
Almost like, do you know what we actually need to do? It's almost like everybody, look, take my hand, come on, dip your toe in. Toe in the water. We'll be all right. We'll all do this together. I promise you. When it goes a bit bad, we'll be there together. When it goes good, take a step forward. Let's do it together. And it's just taking some people different times. And I think that's the key there. It's like, well, what would you, to anybody not really sure or maybe being negative or moaning or complaining, what would you have wanted by this time? Or is it, no, I just say nothing. I say nothing until like maybe like the end of the first season. Do you know what I mean? So when we get to May next year, and we get to May 25, you go, right, we bought X, Y, Z. This is the football. This is how we played. This is that. The January transfer window went like this, that, and the other. Here's where we finish. And then you go, right, first year under Ineos. I'm now judging it. And people are at different places. I'm very, very conscious that we have a hell of a lot of people watching live, which is incredible. And there's loads of members chats, loads of super chats, loads of comments as well, subscriber chats as well. So let's get straight into it. Been a member for 23 months. Liam Kerr has. It says, I'm so ready for some juicy transfer news. Big up the whole UV community. Big up to you. We're definitely ready for some transfer news, Liam. That's for sure. Lucas, thank you for the super chat. Says, good morning, UV fam. Great news this Canada Day. I also wanted to share. Happy Canada Day. Yeah, I didn't even know that was a day like that. Big up. I also want to share. I'm making my way to Old Trafford to my first real United game versus Tottenham. Big up to you. When you get there, come see us. Come have your say, man. Come have your say. You'll see from the videos where we get the fan opinion outside, which I say just behind the Trinity statue. You'll see it there. So if you ever are there in real life, watching a real life game like Lucas is about to for the first time, then come have your say, peeps. So yeah, look forward to seeing you then, Lucas. Harry says, conspiracy view. A variant of the reckless delegation believes Dan is here to reverse the Erik ten Hag decision. And if he doesn't, he's a puppet. Interesting.
Cut one over way then, basically.
Akash says, how does that work? Ashworth reports to Sir Dave and not Barada. Question. Very happy he starts immediately, so no excuses on transfers then, home kit is also out. We were talking a little bit about the home kit towards the end of the show as well. I know a lot of people got a lot of views on not just that kit, but the other two kits to follow, the away and the third kit. And the goalkeeper shirt this year, by the way, I mean, traditionally is not a shirt that you do get, but I tell you what, that black and white piece,
for some maybe not, yeah. For some maybe not. I grew up with some fantastic Manchester United goalkeeper kits. I think you're fine. I remember the one year where it's the kit that Roy Carroll spilled, the one in the back of the net against Tottenham, and the goal didn't actually happen. It was like sequins. It was sparkly. Oh my goodness me, try pulling that off.
I have to say, there's something, and you have to be careful because I'm not trying to wreck any kids' dreams who are watching this right now. But there's something about, and just admit it, or let me know if I'm moving crazy, guys, in the chat. And Owen will feel offended by this, but I'm just going to say it. There's something about if you see a kid or somebody in a goalie shirt,
not at all.
You just go, mate.
That is prejudice. That is prejudice. Okay.
Why have you got that on? You either have to be a goalkeeper. You have to be a goalkeeper. No, I'm not going to say normal person.
Look at this. Look at this. Look at what Flex is saying. And he's got the nerve the other day to call me a bully. He's saying, this is in our own fan base. He's saying that if he sees a child wearing a goalkeeper kit, he's judging them and going, what's wrong with them?
I'm playing, man. I'm playing. But I did used to think, because back in the day as well, when the goalkeeper shirts used to have the extra padding on the flipping elbow bit. And
absolutely disgraceful.
Anyone who's got the goalkeeper, well, I tell you that I'm getting a goalkeeper shirt this year because that black and white and other ones are all right. But it just made me think. Growing up, it was like, no one got the goalkeeper shirts unless you're an actual goalkeeper. No one wore them. Let's be honest. No one wore them. There's been so many famous goalkeepers. It's true. No one wears. No one says, "I need that goalie shirt this year." Apart from this year.
Well, look, I used to obviously playing goal, play the game a lot, and I'm going to be honest, they weren't always the best. You know, they're
No way.
usually green. They're usually green.
Multicolored,
But I
bare
tell you
things on
what,
it.
there have been some nice ones because the year,
Yeah.
and it's one of my favorite United kits, the sort of quilt kit. The goalkeeper kit was green that year, but it was a green quilt, and that was quite nice. I like that one too. So there
Which
was a
one? The
couple.
green? Oh yeah, the green. Yeah.
Yeah.
Schmeichel's one where he had the green with the kind of purpley kind of.
Yeah, back in the 90s,
You know what I
goalkeeper
mean?
kits used to be mental. They used to be wild, and they used to be thick. They used to be
Yeah,
like
that's what I'm
woolen
saying.
jumpers. But
So,
as you got into like the 2000s, that did kind of change a little bit. And United had
mate,
some nice ones for a while.
thin
They had some black
T-shirts.
ones as well, sort of the black Vodafone one with sort of silver. They were quite nice.
Yeah, oh,
But
Bartes wore that one, innit?
yeah, there were a few that were okay.
There were a few, but no disrespect to the goalkeepers union because you lot are very needed in football. Like when we play line aside and nobody wants to go in goal, but then there's two keepers who are actual keepers and turn up. They've saved the day. They've saved the day because then you can have proper shots. You know the game's going to be competitive, not like 2 and out. So it's like people are literally just letting in shots. They just can't bother. Just can't wait to get back out on pitch. We've all been there, apart from if you're a proper goalkeeper. So big up to the goalkeepers union. I forgot how we got there about the new home kit. Akash said. Sunil says, unless we do the open heart surgery, Rangnick told with 10 outgoings and 10 to 12 new players, we will be no different with same players. New ones benched, and there's an awful lot going on here in the chat. Scott says, incoming players, the new kit out on United website. Okay, that's the PR kind of side. You know, they've announced the kit now. Now we can get new players in. Georges says that morning UV, England moving like a dirty girl. Yeah, England moving crazy. But we're through. We're through.
Like a dirty girl.
Shout out Haley. All the real ones though. Shout out Haley. VK says, good day flexing on. Only things certain is change itself. And definitely positive versus the last 18 years of Glazers handling it. That 100% sums it up perfectly, VK. Tabra says, thoughts on the new United kit? Big up my UV family. We're going to talk about that a little bit later on. Aditya says there's a Pletty goal update.
I was going to about the lit. I was going to do it in the next
Okay,
section.
we'll keep that just before we get there now. So guys, it's all going off. Tabrez, we'll talk about the kit later on in the show. And Billionaire Kofi says Southgate critics are unfair. What's the difference between him and Potter at Chelsea? And why didn't Southgate pick players based on his philosophy? So much going on in the chat. 2,500 of you watching, 643 likes. There's no reason why we can't get to 1,000, guys. I'm just going to say, I'm not going to bother with 750 and 800. And no, 1K. It's a done deal today. Dan Ashworth is all but here. There's stuff about De Ligt going on, which I'm going to talk about in 2 seconds. There's stuff with Manuel Ugarte, Josh, Zirkzee. There's so much. Brampthwaite seems to have gone quiet. Maybe it's De Ligt. Who knows? Maybe it's both. There's so much going on. So please do smash a like on the video. And while you're with us as well, join us on Playback as well. If you want to join our community, we're building our community over on Playback. I think we've got a link going in the video description, haven't we?
It should be, yes, the link in the video description, yeah.
It's always there. Make sure you check it. Yeah, it's that right at the top there. Follow United on Playback. Just click that and make sure you follow us on Playback. 2, Owen, Matthijs de Ligt.
Yes, a lot going on with De Ligt, beginning with actually Mike Verwij coming out of the Netherlands, which again, he's always very close on these things, all Dutch matters. He said that Manchester United have made Matthijs de Ligt a contract proposal for 5 seasons. His entourage is negotiating with United, and it is expected that an agreement can be reached in the short term. Now, when it comes to the club side of things, maybe not so much just yet, but Matthijs de Ligt is awaiting an agreement between Manchester United and Bayern Munich. The clubs are already in talks about a transfer fee. Erik ten Hag, meanwhile, reportedly has already had several telephone conversations with the player, same way that reportedly has done about Joshua Zirkzee. Florian Plettenberg has just tweeted in the last couple of minutes too, saying, been told Manchester United and FC Bayern are now in contact about a permanent deal for Matthijs de Ligt. He understands De Ligt's agent, Rafaela Pimenta, is working on a top solution. De Ligt is keen to join Manchester United and Ten Hag, as reported, but there are no total agreements yet. De Ligt can sign a contract until 2029, as per Mike Verwij. And it must be stressed, that's now coming from several side of things. You've got the Florian Plettenberg side of things, which is basically he's gone to Bayern Munich and said, hey, is there anything in this De Ligt stuff? And they're gone, we're talking. So that's a confirmation there. And then really, and then moving from the player side of things, that's where Mike Verwij comes in, the Dutch side of things, going, hey, you talking to Manchester United? Yes. So it looks like Flex, this one's moving pretty quickly and could happen, which is quite exciting. Transfer fee or anything like that, don't know at this point. I did check actually the other day, Flex, when I was doing one of the match views as to what his wages were like, because you know me, I am a stickler for the wage bill.
Let's find out.
His wages at Bayern, he's on 300,000. He's 300,000 euro a week, which is about 260,000 pounds a week. If he comes to United, knowing Manchester United, they will raise that. I'd be shocked if he went to Manchester United and he kept the same. And he's been offered a 5-year contract, by the way. So I would think that he does get a slight increase on that. What that goes to, I don't know. But by the way, this idea that Bayern don't give out big wages. Have a look.
I was about to say that. Well, as you were saying, I went to check on Bayern, and I was thinking, Bayern well run, so it won't be that high. And then you said 300 euros, 300K
he's not even one of the highest. He's like maybe 7th or 8th in that list. You've got like Harry Kane's on like 400K or something even more than that. And you've got like Muller, Sane, Neuer, all over 300K a week. They've got a big wage. That's my thing. I'm kind of looking at with this one a bit. I'm thinking, what's the transfer fee going to be? I can't imagine it'd be super, super, super high. But it's the wages I think need to be looked at. You just don't want a situation where he comes in and then you see like he's on 350 or something ridiculous. You know, we've just obviously Raphael Varane has just left Manchester United. He was on north of 300K a week, about 340, I think it was. And it's going to be interesting to see again what kind of wage De Ligt would come in. You would think again, because it's United, and it's not as if he's old as well. This is the point that Kevin Hatchard was pointing out the other day. Because he's been around a while, you assume he's old. He's 24. He's 20. Yeah, he's 24. And the difference between the perception of him from Manchester United fans and Bayern fans is actually fascinating, because I've seen a lot of pushback. I've seen a lot of pushback about this going, no, it didn't work out at Juventus. It didn't work out at Bayern Munich.
It's not entirely true.
And that we shouldn't get him. He's injury prone, etc., etc., etc. And then you listen to Bayern fans. If you go on any of the social media pages regarding Bayern, they're not happy that he could be leaving. They're like, no, we shouldn't be letting him go. He's still young.
We're finished.
He's one of our best. He's one of our better defenders. What's Vincent Kompany, etc. doing? And yes, last season he had a bit of an injury concern. He still managed to play over 30 games in the Bundesliga.
Mate, we always do this.
And then at Juventus, he did have a shoulder injury, which kept him out for one of the seasons for quite some time. But apart from that, he's on line with most other players of missing 5 games a season, 6 games a season, for something like that. So I think the injury stuff has been massively overblown. And we've got to be careful. We're in the territory of, he missed games last season, so that means that we can't get him. Well, we had players that missed last season. So
let's sell what's his name? Martinez now.
Yeah.
Sell him.
Yeah, exactly.
We always do this.
Yeah.
We always do this. There's a lot on this. Firstly, I think let's start with a bit of like trying to dispel this myth that he's cooked, he's finished, he's rubbish.
I mean, Fleck, you muted yourself again. I mean, yeah, Jurgen Fleck, Flecknology. I'm telling you, this is what you have to put up with.
Same iPhone. What is that? If it's coming up on my laptop, iPhone microphone unavailable. Why?
Well, maybe maybe it's something we discuss after the show.
Airplane mode. Let me put it on airplane. Without how? I don't know. I don't know. Right, Matthijs de Ligt. Stupid thing. Right. I don't see. You probably didn't hear any of that first bit.
No,
right.
I saw a lot of sort of like, it's like when you see it on TV when you see a manager start swearing at people, you just go.
I started off by saying there's a lot on this, and I said I want to start off by sort of dismantling this myth that like he's 100% cooked, he's finished, he's a has-been. It didn't work at Juventus, it didn't work at Bayern, he's a castaway, he's injury prone. No, he's played over 350 games at the age of 24. Finished.
Yeah.
Stop talking about injury. He's 24. He's played over 350 games. He's played 117 games for Ajax, 117 games for Juventus, and he's played 73 games for Bayern since going there. And our good friend Kevin Hatchard, who, listen, I'm not saying he's God, but someone who works in the Bundesliga and covers that, watches it every week. He said this: there aren't many 24-year-olds with the breadth of experience that De Ligt has. Yes, he's had a rough time at Juventus, but I don't imagine the likes of Bonucci welcomed him with open arms. Still a lot to offer at a high level. He said, when you've got Bonucci and Chiellini and people like that, which are goats of the Italian game, and you got this young kid coming in from Ajax, listen, he's had to he's had to fight. He's had to fight for his position. It might not have gone exactly the way he wanted it to, but like I just said, he still played 117 times. I mean, that's not bad, is it?
He said last season with Bayern specifically, didn't he? He said when that the interview that you did with him, he said that actually Bayern fans, if you'd asked him one of their more players that again they wanted to keep and they were happy with, along with the likes of Musiala, he'd be in the conversation. Now I'm not saying De Ligt's better than Musiala, blah blah blah. I'm just saying that this perception, and I don't honestly, Flex, I'm not sure where it actually has come from. I think it's a case of once again
we don't watch. It comes because we don't watch.
We go on transfer market. We go injuries, and we go like or we look at past clubs. We go, well, Juventus didn't work out. Juventus didn't work out. Bayern, he must be shit.
It doesn't mean that. It comes from we all looked at the Ajax team, which, like Kev said, he was knitting that together. A lot of the time they were playing on the halfway line. All the players going off and doing their stuff. He was unbelievable under Erik ten Hag at that time. And De Ligt was the staple to it all at the back. And, we see him get this big move. And I remember when he went to Juventus, I remember we weren't seriously considering him, but I was like, oh my God, he's good. Why couldn't we have got him, etc., etc. Then when he goes to Bayern, same kind of vibe. Oh, he's too clear of us. He's just too high a player. And now it hasn't worked out. Someone said, oh, De Ligt failed at Juventus and has been replaced by Eric Dyer, LOL. And Kevin Hatchard said, for Bayern's biggest game of season, De Ligt played next to Dyer. What are we doing? Like, you're just making things up right now. And yes, he had a few injuries this season, so he would have played more. But that doesn't mean that he's written off. It doesn't mean that he's that bad. And when I look at his injury record, last season, 23-24, he's had about four separate things. One, he missed 2 games, and the 2 more serious ones was his knee ligament tear. He missed 9 games, and then he had a knock that kept him out for 6 games. So he's missed a few.
The Juventus one, then again, this is several years back. They're the 2 big seasons, but in between that, it's in line with what you'd probably expect with most players, which is
1 game here,
4 or 5 games a season.
He was out for 5 games with coronavirus. Cool. Yes, he missed. Don't get me wrong. 2021, he had a shoulder injury. He's out for 17 games. But again, I wouldn't say a player ravaged with injuries. And for a player who's only 24 years of age, who's made that many appearances, again, you wouldn't just say injury prone. You say he's had a bad year. People said N'Golo Kante. I'm not trying to just do that thing again, but they said that he can't do anything anymore. He's finished now. May as well just drive his little mini around. Can't do a thing. Because he was injured all that year at Chelsea.
Look at Leacher. We should get rid of him. He's injured.
Copa America. He's doing a thing in Copa America every game now.
And the idea that, not working out at clubs is a barometer of it not working out. I mean, you look at someone, say, like Martin Odegaard. He went to Real Madrid at 16 or 14, I think it was, wasn't it? Didn't work out there as a prodigy. He's at Arsenal now. He's one of the best midfielders in the Premier League. Just because it hasn't worked out somewhere doesn't mean you're a bad player. Same thing as we've said about managers. It's true about players. You can go to a club, or you can go to a couple of clubs. Might not work out. Doesn't mean you're bad. Doesn't mean It doesn't mean you're washed. You're finished. So I think, again, I question sometimes about what is it we really want. Which players do we actually want? And I think the answer is sometimes we don't know. We don't know actually what we want. Maybe it's because Matthijs de Ligt is too well known. Maybe it's because we're a bit scared of buying players from Bayern, in the Schweinsteiger situation. But that, once again, these aren't comparable situations with that, because Bastian Schweinsteiger was towards the end of his career, and again, Matthijs de Ligt is only 24. He's still incredibly young.
He's got so much experience as well.
If we were signing another 24-year-old centre-back from the Bundesliga that wasn't well-known, we'd be all over this, Flex. We'd be like, this is great. It's because we know who he is, and he's been around for a while. That's almost the worry, isn't it? It's because he's too high profile, really. You do the question, don't you? You go, well, why are Bayern trying to get rid of him? This can't be good. What do they know that we don't know? And I get that's understandable. But, you know, as people point out, Joel London points out there, Mo Salah and Kevin De Bruyne, both they were at Chelsea, didn't work out. Oh, let's not bring it back.
Well, someone else said just then, they said, by this logic, we should never have got Ruud van Nistelrooy.
Yeah, you know what I mean? He's injured.
He went to get him. He's done his knee in a real bad way. What, his knee? What, bad like that? Yeah. All right, well, we'll get him next season. No, don't, mate. Did you not see that big knee injury he had just 12 months before? Don't do it. Listen, and this, I'll be honest, this doesn't mean, I'm not being silly here. Like, I'm just talking about literally just writing him off because he's had a few injuries this season. This doesn't mean, I'm not saying that, of course, De Ligt's going to be a success. He's going to be exactly the answer to all our problems, exactly what we need. He possesses qualities where he can make us better. Absolutely, he does, because he's a good player when he's fit. And yes, there's been a few injuries here and there, but he's, you know, still a risk, still a transfer that, you know, is going to be clearly, let's be honest, it's going to be big money, or wages, or the commitment to him, 5-year deal plus whatever wages. You know, it's going to be a big outlay, and it's a big decision being made. But it's a risk that, if you look at the lot of centre backs out there, I think, like I said, he does possess things that our top level centre back we would want to have. And he's been a player who's been at a high level, and probably in this phase of his career, who's not even in his prime yet, is saying to himself, right, I've got another chance here with a manager that I know very well, who helped me very early on in my career. And I'm ready for it. And, you know, if we do get him, which there's so much there.
Wasn't he captain of Ajax?
I think he was.
I think captain of Ajax too. So you're bringing in, like, again, and that's a young guy, it's a leader-like figure. I believe he was captain. Exactly. You can let me know if he wasn't. It was either him or Frankie de Jong. I think it was De Ligt.
Yeah, I think it was. Yeah,
but you're still bringing in like a lead-like figure, and that's the funny thing too, Flex. Of like, yeah, but you know, is he quick enough? Can he play the high line? Wait a minute. We are begging Erik ten Hag. Going,
wait a minute.
Wait a minute. We're begging Erik ten Hag to, why aren't you playing the Ajax style at Manchester United? And he brings in someone, or he's looking to bring in someone.
He said, I don't have Ajax players, he said. Gets to him.
That was successful playing that style of football. And we're questioning, can he play this style of football? Well, he did it. He did it. I mean, is there, again, it's not totally perfect. Are the reservations once again you're going after players that only you know and you've worked with? This was also something Kevin Hatchard brought up, wasn't it? Going, that kind of influence over the transfers is always a bit concerning. You know, I get that. I understand that. And that's a worry, like we spoke about earlier too. I'm very curious to see what his wages would look like, because that's a bit of a red flag for me, of just like, this could be a player that comes in, next thing you know, he's like 350, and you go, whoa.
Well, yeah, I mean, you was thinking even if it was Jared Brantwaite with 150, where we
exactly
terms, you were a bit like, hang on a minute,
exactly.
It's going to be double.
Wait a minute. So that is a concern there, but I do think some of the sort of, and I think they're legitimate sort of negatives or reservations to look at. But I think some of the other stuff, I think, is just kind of, you know what I mean, overblown, or just sort of weird narratives that are being sort of spun.
Yeah, it's going to be really interesting. I mean, by way of number 1 and number 2, I guess, because we've got the likes up as a poll at the moment. So have you smashed the like button? 78% of you said yes, and 22% of you said doing it now. And we're on 917 likes, so we're nearly at 1,000. We're nearly at 3K watching live. So I don't want to upset the balance of that. But by number 1 or number 2, number 1 being you're behind it, it's a good signing. Number 2 being no, you don't think it's going to work. In the chat, is Matthijs de Ligt a good signing if it happens? Number 1 is yes. Great signing, good signing, or you're behind it, however you want to do it, but you advocate it. Number 2 is no, don't think it's good, too injury prone, not good enough, whatever. Just by way of number 1 or number 2, while we get back to the chat as well. Harry says, I doubt United would go for him for higher wages. It does not make sense or align with Ineos, with the Ineos chat. He'd probably looking to reignite his career. VK has gifted 10 memberships as well. Big up to you, VK, and the beneficiaries of those 10 memberships. VK always support the channel and the community, a staple in the community right there. OJ is the latest member of the UV Members Club as well. Big up to you. And Uncle Somi says the 1st of July, and Brantwaite still at Everton. what's happening there? Does with us getting De Ligt, does that mean that's gone now? Does that mean they kept their man, Everton? You know, who knows? We'll have to wait and see. Apparently, we agreed personal terms. We had one bid turned down. Could we get both? I don't know.
I've got a conspiracy. You know, Christina Uncle has been working for ITV. I want to see a situation where, well, like ITV go to Christina Uncle for the referee decisions, KG goes to Uncle for his refereeing decisions.
He does. He does. He does. And actually, right, so that was clearly number ones all around, really, wasn't it? I think that was clear to see. It was number one.
The majority, yeah.
Majority said that. By way of who would you prefer out of Branthwaite and De Ligt? Branthwaite, you know, arguably 60 odd million pounds, 70. We don't know the fee, so maybe De Ligt is the same. I don't know. So I know it's a bit of a difficult question. Number one for Branthwaite, number two for De Ligt. I repeat again. Number one, if you think De Ligt, number one, if you think Branthwaite is a better fit for United, or number two for De Ligt, if you think that he is a better fit for United. OJ says, imagine getting De Ligt, Todibo, Ugarte, and Xerxes. Well, we're not going to get to Todibo, but that would be class. And V33 says, 5-year contract. When are we going to learn? 3-year max. Owen, 24-year-old. 5-year deal, isn't that the done
That's
thing?
not totally surprising. That's not totally surprising. At 5 years for a 24-year-old, that's not really a shocker, is it? I think nowadays, particularly again, we're spreading the cost over. You have to remember. I mean, what's the rule? How many years you can spread it over? Is it 6 is the max, or 5 or 6, or something like that?
Chelsea.
So with Manchester United being tight when it comes to PSR, that's not totally a surprise for a 24-year-old. You know, I think the criticism of the long contract was with someone like a Casper when it's over 30, isn't it? Then you go, well, that's maybe a bit too much, a bit too severe, but definitely is gathering pace, isn't it, Flex?
To say the least, it really is. But before we move on into Ugarte, first of all, we've got 983 likes, so we're nearly at 1K. The number twos are smashing in the chat right now in terms of they're preferring Matthijs de Ligt over a Jared Branthwaite. Interesting to hear about that. What do we think this means for the Branthwaite thing? Do you feel like the Branthwaite thing will go now? Because obviously we can only really afford to spend big on one. Do we? Yeah. Is there a way we can get both? Is this the Ligt thing? I mean, to offer him a contract and he's spoken with Ten Hag and there's a thing there till 2029 and he wants to come. That sounds quite advanced from really key people for it to be like a smokescreen to make Everton hurry up. And how happy would you guys be with the fact that we tried to get Branthwaite? It looked like Everton wanted too much money and we went and got someone else, providing that it didn't cost as much to bring in De Ligt, because then it wouldn't make sense.
The Branthwaite one looks quite dead in the water now, doesn't it, really? I mean, look, the conversations were sort of centered around the thought that United could get the price down because of this deadline thing, and Everton wanted 70 million. Now, if we get past this deadline, which we already are now, it's July 1st, there's now no real reason for Everton to take it down. So you would think would probably stick by their price, perhaps. It looks like all the clubs that are really tight on PSR are engaging with each other to buy players off each other to offset this PSR stuff. So I don't see this Branthwaite one, and I don't want it to be a situation a bit like with Anthony again, where maybe we panic and we get some outgoings. We're like, right, let's go get Branthwaite 70 odd million. You go, well, again, this is the reason to have alternatives and explore the market. If we had literally hung our hat on, we are getting Jared Branthwaite this summer, then we'd be a bit screwed because we're like, well, we've got no one else to go for. We haven't done the due diligence. We haven't done the work. The fact that we can do this one quickly and it won't cost as much as 70 million. The wages will be more expensive, definitely, than Jared Branthwaite. But, I don't think that one happens now. I don't think. What about you?
Yeah, it'd be a huge outlay. I agree. I'm not ruling out getting maybe another centre-back, maybe.
Yeah.
But it would be significantly less, or unless something significant happened with like a Harry Maguire or something. Because you never know, the transfer window throws up all sorts of by the time we get to the last week and Harry Maguire could be really looking at it going, oh, I'm actually not going to play. Like, this is, do you know what I mean? Which you would think he might know from before, but he might go, actually, I don't want another season like that. I've just missed out on the Euros. I need to be playing, get ready for the World Cup. In his head, that's what he'd be thinking. And Mark Gahey's come in and done brilliantly. John Stones is still John Stones, even though he's not having a good tournament. There's other Branthwaites coming through now. There's other, do you know what I mean? The next tournament could easily be Branthwaite and Gahey. Like, It really could. Do you know what I mean? Depending on who the new manager is and how he wants to play, could be another. It could be bloody what's his face by then. Levi Colwell could be up to scratch, and who knows? You just don't know in the
It might
next
be
couple of years.
something United look at next year. It might be something
You know
United
what I
look at
mean?
next year or something like that. And I'd be
Yeah.
like, look, he's a young guy. Let's have another season at Everton. We're in
Exactly.
no rush. We got a centre back. We'll see what happens.
And I've got no problem with that. So I don't mind us leaving that for now. I had reservations over that price and the step up for him as well, although he is a good player. Right, Manuel Ugarte, there's a lot going on with this deal as well.
Yes, there is a lot going on with this one too. Once again, this one comes from Florian Plettenberg, who says that he understands that Manuel Ugarte is a serious transfer target for Manchester United now. Talks took place as the 23-year-old can leave PSG this summer. Manchester United want to strengthen the central midfield. There are also rumours about Ugarte and FC Bayern, but currently he is not a topic of interest at Bayern. Now, again, that's why it's significant that it's come from Florian Plettenberg, because he's coming at it from the Bayern Munich side of things. So essentially, once again, he's gone to Bayern Munich and said, hey, I've heard some stuff about Ugarte. What's going on there? And he's been told probably no. He's talking with Manchester United. It's looking like he's going to go there. There are also some reports coming out of Uruguay this morning, of course, him being a Uruguay international, saying that positive talks are ongoing between Manchester United and PSG for Manuel Ugarte. United must be stressed, may send their first offer in the next few hours. So this one is another one that looks to be gathering serious pace pretty quickly, Flex. I mean, once again, this is why I would recommend everyone to go watch that talk with Kevin Hatchard, because, you know, you just sort of see these names. You go, midfielder, that's great. What kind of midfielder is he? Well, I thought Kevin Hatchard laid it out pretty perfectly, saying, look, he was an understudy to Paulinho when he was at Sporting Lisbon, which is this sort of destroyer, ball-winning central midfielder. You could say, once again, wow, if he's that good, why PSG letting him go? It's really a philosophy thing, as far as I understood it from Kevin Hatchard, sort of saying that, you know, you've got obviously Luis Enrique there at PSG, and he likes his midfielders to be more sort of just complete ball-playing midfielders and not so much on the sort of winning the ball back, because they don't need to do that much at PSG, of course. So they've got, obviously, you know, Vitinha. Who else have they got? Ruiz in midfield there, I think, as well.
Yeah. Zaire Emery as well.
Yeah, they got, you know, top quality ball playing midfielders, and he doesn't really fit in there. And PSG are moving away from their model of the past, sort of based on superstars. Now they've realized that doesn't really get you anywhere. It's about the team, it's about the collective, it's about the coach. So they're looking to move players on this summer, and Ugarte could be definitely one of them. And it's a profile of player. Again, I can't say I've watched a lot of him play, but when I hear that, the profile of the player, a ball-winning kind of midfielder, I think that's really that's quite exciting. What say you?
Yeah, I'm not going to pretend about Manuel Ugarte. I haven't watched him play loads, and as you do, you go and have a look at them more and see some clips, speak to a few experts, but also go and look at some clips yourself to see if that backs up what you've been told. And what I see with his best bits is that sort of engine, in your face, aggressive, trying to win the ball back, can drive with the ball. You know, can evade challenges and just like through grit and power. I haven't seen too much of, like, you know, can he play in tight spaces and, you know, balls around the corner, and can he link up play? And I haven't seen that side of it. So I'm not going to profess know loads about him, but I've always said the profile of what we need. For me, I need someone next to Kobe who can get about. That because Kobe's so good at what he does. The actual main attribute, of course, you need to be able to play, but it's so important we have someone really, really mobile next to him. And I hope Ugarte is that. And that mobility can come in different ways. It can come with being like how Kante is, which not many people are, but having sort of like 4 or 5 lungs where you're just incredibly quick and can just do everything. But it can also come with sort of like that dog in you, like they just know how to put fires out, go smashing into tackles, do the hard, ugly bit. Like a version of Leacher, who I'm not saying that Ugarte is as good as Leacher on the ball, but a version of Leacher with that passion and smashing into people and let's go in midfield next to Kobe and let Kobe go and flourish, let Kobe go and play. And you mix that in with Bruno, and you know what Bruno's like in terms of like the end product. If what's behind him is fine, you let Bruno operate in the top half of the pitch, you know what you're going to get. And we still probably need another in midfield as well. But the profile-wise, I like what I'm researching and finding out.
Yeah, like I said, I don't think we can sit on here and profess to be total experts. And I've watched every game he's played, Flex. I'm a big expert on it. I can't do that. I think what we have seen last season, and last season not the best barometer to look at anything with Manchester United, but you know, we've kind of romanticized Fred's time at Manchester United because we need someone that can win the ball but also progress it a little bit. So like you said, I don't know how good of a progressor of the ball Ugarte is.
Yeah,
I know from what Kevin Hatchard was saying, again, he's a ball winner, aggressive, and we definitely needed that. And you need that alongside Cobby. I think, once again, I'm looking at the profile and actually just across the breadth of the targets that we've been seriously linked to. And it's very clear what the direction that Ineos are going in, which is we're buying young players. I mean, you look at Ugarte, he's 23, he's 24 next year. You obviously look at Joshua Zirkzee, 23 years old. You're looking at even Matthijs de Ligt, which again, been around for a while, but he's 24, coming into 25 very soon. So once again, whereas maybe United hadn't done this in the past, they've been maybe looking at just, are they a big name? Can we get them, that kind of thing? Now it's more of a case of, okay, do they fall into the bracket of their sort of early, max mid-20s, something like that? And can we do the deal quickly, which looks like it's the case. Once again, it's a bit of a, you would say, going from PSG to Manchester United, what are the wages going to look like, you know, in that one? But I do think that's an exciting signing. I stress, in the absence of knowing a lot about watching him every single week, the profile of the player, I think, is encouraging because that's the right type of midfielder that Manchester United need to be going for this summer. We need to have, again, that ball winner and that young, long-term partner for Cobby. Now, what it means for Casemiro, what it means for him. I mean, we still don't know what's going on with Sofian Amrabat. I mean, is he gone now? I think his loan deal expired.
Yeah.
I think it has, hasn't it? It's now July.
Yeah.
So those things remain to be seen. But I do think this is encouraging news when it comes to the profile of players, certainly. It's not like last year when we're going like, we get Mason Mount and the first question is why? You know, you can see why United are doing these deals, right? Because we need a centre-back. We need a striker. We need a midfielder. And it actually makes legitimate sense of the profile of players that we're going after.
Yeah, it does. That's what I'm saying. The profile is what matters. And I said that right from the start of the window, before the window even opened. I'm less concerned. You know, people go, who do you want to sign? You know, we always do this kind of wish list. Oh, really want him. Let's go get Pedro Neto. Must get Elise or must get Paulinho or this. It's one specific player, and we hang our hat on like, oh, Chelsea have gone and got him now, or you know, Liverpool got him, or you know, City got. Well, why didn't we? And I wanted to focus more on the profile because we're in a different situation now. We almost need to. You can never completely forget about what your rivals are doing because you have to keep an eye on what's going on. You know, you have to be in the market for the top talent, but especially this window. Do you know what I mean? I think this is the full reset window. This is the one where actually it's a bit of an anomaly. We actually shouldn't care about what anyone else is doing unless there's a real target that, you know, like say someone else wants to lit now, so we need to get a move on. Like we should focus on what we need to focus on. And this is the first window of us undoing this mess. And we need to get it right. The decisions we make now, which we've always said about sins of the past, we can't have any more sins of the past. We just need straight repentance, mate. Like, I don't want any more sins of the past. What I want is for us to be able to start undoing the mess, which is going to take a while. You can't just click your fingers and all the mess is gone. But the ones that you invest into now are going to be, if they don't work out, our problem again in 18 months, 2 years, if we buy wrong now. So at least give the manager the best chance with the environment that we're creating and the players that we're trying to buy, so that in a year and a half, we're not stuck with, you know, some of these signings on huge wages and you know, it hasn't worked out. And V33 was talking a bit more about it now, saying prefer a 3+1 deal. You don't perform, get out. No more bums like Martial, Anthony and Sancho enjoying fat paychecks, send on loan and leaving for free. It's disgusting.
The problem is with that is just, but briefly, it's the finances, isn't it? I mean, that's why the wages are so important. The 5-year deals, they're kind of here to stay because you've got to spread the cost over an amount of time for PSR and FFP.
You have to pay more if you only do it over 3 years.
Exactly. That's the problem with that one. That's why the wages are so critical. You know, can you get the wages right? You know, as opposed to maybe the length of the contract, right?
GJE says, any idea what's going on with the women's team? So much outgoings, it's worrying. Will you cover this in a separate show? I hope Ineos aren't ignoring it. Well, what we've seen from the reports is that, like Owen said a little bit earlier in the show, and we all echo that, and we said it in the show beforehand. We're losing our best players. Skinner held on to his job, by a whisker. Okay, we won the FA Cup, which was fantastic against Spurs, but Mary Earps, is it Garcia gone?
Okay, Zellum gone. Last season it was
gone.
Russo. They're
Year
not
before that, it was Lauren James.
They're not in the facilities that were built for them at this point. And look, Ineos have a lot to be spoken to about that. Absolutely, they do, no doubt about it.
Yeah, absolutely. So will we cover it on a separate show? Potentially, yeah. I think the more it goes on and we get a bigger picture as to what's actually happening, I don't see why not. But certainly we'll bring it up in shows like this as well. And Sabucio says, love the Ugarte talk. Good player, but I feel it's not enough. If Casemiro leaves and you sell Scotty, what's the excuse for not trying to get Neves? Oh, João Neves, sorry. Even if it's 100 million. Well, probably that bit there. 100 million is probably the reason. But if we do sell Casemiro and
I don't think they both go. That's the thing. I think
no, exactly. But if they did, I mean,
then they might look at. Then they would have to look at. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So it's all, that hasn't happened yet. We haven't got rid of two midfielders. We haven't even got rid of one yet. So, well, technically we have got rid of one in Amrabat, I suppose. And there's a lot. Ericsson will certainly leave. Van der Beek will definitely leave. So there's a lot going on. And again, this is so early in the window. We can't really say why haven't they done this and why haven't they done that. We have to wait and see how this thing pans out, to be honest with you. Right there, we're all good for super chats. Have I missed any? No, 5 year.
I think you caught up. No. I think you caught up.
Yeah, I think we're all caught up. And in terms of the news and the transfer news, before we just talk about the kits a little bit, I think we're good. Haven't missed anything else out. So if you're just joining us, what have you missed? Well,
rewind.
Rewind. Dan Ashworth, all but done. And we'll start with immediate effect. We're basically awaiting official club statements from obviously from the club, and then hopefully something from Dan Ashworth himself. So we'll keep you posted with that. Matthijs de Ligt contract offer. Is it safe to say on the table till 2029?
Yeah, they're saying on the table. Bayern and Man United in talks right now. Ericsson Hagen talks to the player, so that one is moving very quickly. Yeah,
moving very quickly.
Yeah,
Ugarte, solid conversations at least.
Yeah,
maybe a bid this week. Player, we're hearing noises that he does want the move. He definitely is surplus to requirements. Luis Enrique making it very very clear. He definitely is available. So watch that, and Joshua Zirkzee as well. Still ongoing. Looked like the last reports with Man United are willing to meet the release clause. So
three
much
deals
going
at
on.
Once, Fleck.
Three deals at once. But the new kit is out today. New home kit. I was saying to Owen before the show, I said I think it's quite safe. I think it's a safe. It's the first one, obviously taking out the team view and putting the Snapdragon branding or front of house shirt sponsor. I think you can't really go wrong with what they've done with it. Really, it's a maybe bit different tone of red slightly, but I just think that it's very safe.
Usually you
simple,
associate a bit of red and black, don't you? Really, and the only sort of black bits is the socks, from what I can see. The rest, it's red and white. It's a bit like one of those first. I think it might have been the first Adidas kit we had back in 2015, and it was a bit plain. It was the Chevrolet one. It was just literally they just put the Adidas stripes.
They just want to feel their way into the deal, don't they?
You know what I mean? And it's a bit like that. Like you said, maybe a bit of a different shade of red, perhaps. So and obviously the Snapdragon's on there, which is already got a red part of its logo. So it's a bit plain. It's a bit plain, but
I think it's safe. I don't think you can look at that and hate it. I think you'll go, okay, fine. Everything's symmetrical, it's good.
If we flew this season and did amazing stuff, then it becomes the best kits. I was talking about this the other day in one of the match views. The best kits become iconic depending on what you do in them, isn't it? You know what I mean? If you go and win things like win the Champions League, win the Premier League, do this, do that, win the Champions League, then it gets remembered forever. If if you don't really do anything in it, it gets forgotten about pretty quickly, doesn't it? It's got to be nice otherwise to be remembered. But yeah.
No, I agree. I don't mind it. Bit plain, but very safe, and can't hate it, but I don't love it. But I would wear it. It's all right. It's the third kit, isn't it? Is the one with the flag. I call it a flag, but with the red, white, and
the sort of Mancunian flag.
That looks really nice.
Yeah,
I'm down for that for sure.
Yeah,
and the away kit. Yeah, and the goalkeeping kit. I will the black one. That is nice. That's one of the only times I think we can wear.
Well, I'm just seeing one here. There's a black. I think that might be the black one. Might be like the goalkeeping away kit or something. Because
is it?
What I can see is that from what it looks like from the promo pictures here, the home goalkeeper kit is purple, and the badge is a green badge that I'm going to be honest, Flex, looks awful. It looks really bad.
It's like a big smudge of green.
Luckily, it's got a lime wedge on it.
Green and white, isn't it? Yeah. But I don't mind all the patterns going on. I don't mind the purple with all the patterns with the green, but the actual badge looks a bit much.
But you mentioned about goalkeeping kits. Like that's what it kind of is that goalkeeping kits, they can be wild. They'll do some crazy stuff with goalkeeper kits. The most disappointing one is there has been a bit of a trend in recent year with kits that a manufacturer basically makes the same kit for all of the clubs and just swaps out the badges. You know what I mean? Where sometimes, like what Euro, it might be like Euro 2016. Remember that, where basically all the teams had the same kit?
Nike,
but they just changed the colors, and it was like, this is bullshit.
Well, remember the one with the big circle? The circle.
Yeah.
So Brazil had the circle.
I didn't mind the Total 90 ones. That was cool. But I'm not a fan of that. I like the the difference between all the different teams.
No, it's there. But we'll wait for the away kit. The third kit. The away kit, the navy one with the white. I don't mind it, but it reminded me a bit of a cricket kit.
I haven't seen the away kit.
It looked a bit James Anderson. Didn't
MUFC.
You know what I mean, a bit of Josh
away kit. Let's have a look.
Didn't really take me. It's all right, but it just looked a bit like a crash. I just thought England at Lords.
Oh, he's quite smart. It's quite got a little bit of a pattern. A little bit of a pattern as well on it. Can't really see. Hopefully we have much better luck in it than we did last year's away kit, because that away kit, did we win a game in it? I think we want to get United away, the green kit. And eventually we stopped wearing. We stopped wearing it because we couldn't win in it.
Honestly, and I just went even from the beginning, I never liked that kit.
That kit will live in infamy, won't it? Because we just were so rubbish.
We got licks.
The only thing about that kit is it looked bad, and then when you saw it in person, you went, "Well, it's not as bad as it looks." Actually,
a
bit different.
It started off bad.
The replica and the real one was poor, and then honestly, when we just were rubbish. The positive last season that I liked with the kits is the third kit was really nice. I really liked the white kit last season.
So, that was really nice. I'll be keeping that on for a while. Absolutely. Guys, V33 says, what's the expectations for Man United with all the mumbo jumbo management change up? What is your expectations till the first tunes of Ineos out is heard?
Oh, when we lose a game, there'll be Ineos out. When we lose, well, it's already started. We'll miss out on a signing that we were linked to, and that will be Ineos out. You know what I mean? There's already been very severe threats of Ineos out because, again, we are so scarred that we have been radicalized to be very sort of just reactionary. And I throw myself into this as well. That when something that we don't like happens, we're like, get rid of everyone.
Get rid of it. Change it.
And then we do get rid of everyone, we go, but get rid of them as well. No one be here.
So what do you actually want? Just have a club, just have the badge and an empty stadium with no players and no manager. So at least you can't be annoyed. Yes. But anyway, a massive show. We were at 3,000 people watching live. We've got over 1,100 likes. Crazy show. We can feel that something's on horizon. Well, we know something's on horizon in terms of official announcement, whether that's Dan Ashworth, whether that's a here we go as well for some other deals or some exclusives. We will see, but things are moving very, very
Ten Hag as well.
Ten Hag. Oh, forgot about that. Yeah,
that's exactly. So, honestly, that could come
coaching
today.
Staff.
It could come tomorrow. That's very, very close.
Everything is going, and as Paul Lucas says, he says great show as well. So it has been a great show. We'll be across everything. Some good games today in the Europa League, in the Euros. Yes. Belgium taking on France.
Yeah,
big game. Portugal, Slovenia.
Yeah.
Big games.
Because even last night, you might look at that one and go, "Oh, Portugal, Slovenia, is anything in there?" But I tell you what, the Spain game last night was very good.
What was that? What? The Spain?
Spain.
What does that say?
Georgia, this is Harry Panero.
Georgia.
I had to use it last night. I was going to get them. It was Spain 4.
Georgia.
1.
What I tell you what we'll do. I'll get him to send us a I'll say to this H. Just give me that line.
I can't. There's no use for it anymore. I'm not gonna. How often am I gonna use that? That's why I had to sort of get it in for last night, because otherwise, you know. So I've got to get it. Was Spain versus
Georgia.
Was fun last night.
It's just so quick and aggressive. It sounds like
yeah.
Oh god. Nico Williams in the mile, your miles are up. Wow. I mean, it's a joke, isn't it? But anyway, latest guys, we are out of here. What a show. We'll see you with any breaking news that comes out, because something's on its way. We're out of here. Peace.